And finally, new rule, the Supreme Court has to recognize that they have one last chance to not look like a bunch of partisan hacks who are no different than the other two branches of government. This week, the court is hearing about a case that will definitively tell us if they really are still a separate branch of government, or whether, when the founders said, "You are a check on executive power," they thought it meant a blank check, because their recent past has been kind of shaky. For example, in May and June of this year, on issues like withholding money Congress specifically authorized and suspending due process for non-citizens, federal district courts ruled against the current administration in 82 out of 87 cases. But at the Supreme Court, President Trump is on a 17-case winning streak, which is funny because during the Biden years, the court was all about reining in presidential power. Biden was constantly asking for leeway on issues like vaccine mandates, regulating carbon, canceling student debt, and the court was constantly telling him, "Sorry, Joe, we checked the rules, and no, the president alone doesn't have that power." But when Trump's lawyers asked if he had absolute immunity, so absolute that he could even use SEAL Team 6 to assassinate political enemies, they said, "Who are we to judge? You do you." And the president has taken full advantage of that. You know, there's a reason, Mr. President, so many people these days are saying you act like a king. It's why for Halloween this year, I went as you. See, I'm dressed as a king, but still got the long red tie. Trump once said, "I have an Article 2 where I have the right to do whatever I want as president, but I don't even talk about that." Well, you just did talk about it. But more importantly, that's not what Article 2 says. And allowing any one branch of government to do whatever they want is pretty much the exact opposite of the basic meaning of the Constitution. The case that's before the court now is about tariffs, which are boring, but which are plainly a kind of tax, and taxes is plainly something the Constitution says only Congress can levy, as opposed to Trump's argument that he can set any tax on whoever at whatever level by the power of Truth Social, as the framers intended. Even if the reason is Canada hurt my feelings or this Brazilian dude is a big fan. Woke people once changed the meaning of the word violence to things I don't like. Trump's word for things I don't like is emergency. He's declared 9 of them. 9 emergencies. Officially, he's never not freaked the fuck out. And his emergency weapon of choice, his all-purpose cudgel for everything, is tariffs. And sometimes tariffs do work with good results, like ending wars and stopping fentanyl from coming in. So some people say, well, you can't argue with results. Yes, actually you can if the price is too high, and utterly ignoring the Constitution is a price too high. The Constitution, is it still a real thing, or is it just a vibe now? The Supreme Court has to decide, are you going to be democracy's last line of defense, or is the Constitution now really, let's be honest, just like the Bible? Just a sacred old text that everyone name drops with reverence, but no one actually reads or even feels bad about ignoring. I mean, that's what we do with the Bible, isn't it? We just ignore stuff while still pretending it's the greatest book ever. Even the devout don't take it literally. The Bible plainly says, if you see your neighbor working on Sunday, kill him. But you rarely hear about a guy actually saying, Bob, I saw you last weekend answering emails out by the pool. I'm going to have to come over there later and kill you. And yet it's still the book we put our hand on in court, because how better to signal that you're sane and honest? than to be clutching the thing that is undeniably, incontrovertibly pro-slavery. Both testaments, the old dude in the sky and his hippie son, both have many commandments and pronouncements about slavery, and none of them are, don't do it. Thing is, the Constitution is pro-slavery too. But the difference between science and faith is, with the Constitution, we could amend it, and did. I could live with the Bible and its Bronze Age nonsense as long as we also had the greatest document from the Age of Enlightenment. But now I fear they're both like a hot dog, something Americans love, but they don't know what's in it and they don't care. They're like iPhone user agreements written in parchment. Things to carry around, but not to read. Conservatives love their little tiny pocket constitutions. They all carry these. And you'd think, being so tiny, it would inspire them to open it. You know. Read me. Look, I'm so tiny. How long could it take? Well, if you say you love this thing, but you don't obey it, you've never read it, and you don't even care what's in it, it's not the law anymore. It's just another Bible.